Hey, it's Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People. I earned that nickname because I love working for fans. Okay, so if you ever have questions for me, for players or coaches, please let me know. And also, you guys have been doing a wonderful job of helping me get close to my goal of 5,000 subscribers before that first week game against Cleveland. I think I need about 100 more people. So please hit the like button if you've already subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, hit it now. And also consider hitting that bell notification button. By the way, when you hit the like button, that helps other Carolina Panther fans find out about my station, help me grow, help me continue to get more players and more coaches on the show because we do have some more coming. So let's go ahead and get into it. You all have tuned in today to talk about this 53-man roster cut down. So just know there's still some changes to be made. There's still practice squad, waiver acquisitions, all that stuff. I remember a couple years ago, I think it was F.A. Abato, he was like, yeah, he's safe. No, he's gone. Yeah, he's back. So just know that we can have a few more days of that. Let me go ahead and say what's up to a few people that have already logged in. John Olich, I don't know. I'm sorry. You all know I try my best to say these names, but sometimes I mess them up. Thanks, CJ, and keep us all pounding by likes and shares. Appreciate it so much. He says to subscribe. Donna says, is this a revenge game or just a game for Baker Mayfield? So we'll get into all of that stuff because some quotes about Baker has come out. So we'll talk about that for sure. But without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce some graphics to you as we go over the 53-man roster as it is now. Really, we're just going to talk about the cuts so you can deduct from there who is still on the list. And I invite you in the comments right now as I release this list. Let me know your surprises, whether surprised that he was cut or surprised that he is there as I go through it. All right. So let me hide this comment that's out there. Forgot to take that away. Boom. And let's go ahead and start with the unveiling. All right. Let's start with that wide receiver group, which is one that was heavily crowded. Heavily crowded. So, wide receiver Brandon Zylstra, he was waived. A little bit of a surprise there for me. He's also a good special teams guy. Wide receiver Keith Kirkwood, and man, you just feel like with Keith Kirkwood, he got the hit last year. He was out, then he was back, and then he's back again, and he's cut. So, of course, some of these players can be candidates for practice squads. I'm going to go over how that works a little bit once I'm done with a complete list. Safety, Justin Boris. Linebacker, Julian Stanford. Running back, Spencer Brown. Man, we got rid of some guys that I didn't think that we would get rid of with that running back group. So you got Spencer Brown that's gone, leaving us with Christian McCaffrey, Dante Foreman, and Chuba Hubbard as our wide receivers. Nevertheless, let's keep on working through this list here. Wrong one. Sorry about that. Spencer Brown and John Lovett were released. Wide receiver, Derek Wright. Wide receiver, C.J. Saunders. And, Saunders had some flashes. So, again, he could be another guy that comes back. Certainly had some flashes during training camp down in Spartanburg. We also have wide receiver Charleston Rambo and wide receiver Rashawn Henry. Keep it on working through this list. So that covers all the wide receivers. So let me go ahead and tell you what wide receivers do we still have on this team. That leaves us still with DJ Moore, Rashard Higgins, Andre Roberts is still on this roster. So that means that this team still has faith in Andre Roberts as a specialist. I know I was feeling like Shi Smith as he was coming along, doing well, that, hey, Andre Roberts, we haven't seen you, so why should we keep you? It's not my decision. Fitterer and Rule and others have decided that they're going to keep Andre Roberts. That still means that Robbie Anderson's on this list, on this team, as well as Terrace Marshall and Shi Smith. All right, let's keep on working through this. Tight end Colin Thompson. Tight end Josh B. I can't say his last name at all. So what does that leave us for the wide receiver group? That leaves us with Tommy Tremble, Stephon Sullivan, Giovanni Ritchie, and Ian Thomas at that wide receiver position. Those are the guys that we still have remaining after those cuts by those two. Offensive lineman, Deontay Brown. Offensive lineman, Mike Horton. Offensive lineman, Sam Tecklenburg. Those are our guys that are no longer with the team. So that leaves us Akeem Ekwonu, Brady Christensen, Michael Jordan, Pat Elflein, Bradley Bozeman, Austin Corbett, Taylor Moton, Cameron Irving. Those are the guys who we are still now left with on that offensive line with the transactions that have taken place. All right, let's keep on. And again, leave your comments about surprises, questions that you have with this roster that I'm sure will be very much changing by this time tomorrow. We also have defensive end Austin Larkin, defensive end Drew Jordan, defensive end Daryl Johnson, defensive tackle Frank Ron, linebacker Josh Watson. All right, so that's almost all the cuts. One thing I want to tell you that is not listed on my screen that I'm going to be sharing with you is that season-ending injury for Zane Gonzalez. He has been placed on injured reserve for the year, and that means we will no longer see Zane Gonzalez. So we do not have a kicker on this team, which again, I guarantee you're going to see transactions in the next 24 hours because of that. All right, let's keep on working through this list. Linebacker Aaron Mosby, linebacker Isaiah Graham Mobley, cornerback Tay Hayes, and cornerback. So I didn't follow Tay Hayes a lot to say whether I'm like shocked for him being cut. And again, this guy could be a practice squad candidate. Man, he had a good game against the Washington Commanders, that first game with that interception. But, you know, it takes more than just one good game, one moment. Got to keep everything into perspective as you're watching these preseason games. That's why I don't put a whole lot into what I see because it's just preseason. And these coaches, they know where they're leaning at, and they just need some plays to kind of make some further decisions on these guys. Cornerback Kalen Barnes. So to me, I'm going to say that's the most significant one because he was just drafted this year by the Carolina Panthers. I don't know the last time that this team had a player that was drafted and did not make the 53-man roster. I'm not saying it's been forever. It doesn't happen because it does. But I don't feel like it's been something that has happened within a, recent enough memory for me to tell you who the last one was. So if you know, go ahead and leave it in the comments and let me know about that. You also got cornerback Mardre Harper and safety Kenny Robinson. So there you have it. That is your 53-man roster. Those are just the guys that have been waived. Obviously, you didn't hear a guy called that you have been cheering for, such as a Terrace Marshall or Chuba Hubbard. I didn't say their name because they are still on this roster. All right, we got a lot of comments that have been coming through. Let's go ahead and check out some of these comments that have been coming through. Let's see. You guys are talking about the Baker stuff. I'll come back to that. What are the conditions of being practice squad, and will Derek Brown make it, in your opinion? Not sure what you mean by the conditions, but let me go ahead and make this segue. Thanks for the question, and Andre Cunningham. Let me go ahead and just bring up this graphic here to give you some insight on practice squad and how exactly it works, what all it means. Let me first clear this off of here. Just a second. As I've been getting more used to this new computer, so I've had less mess up. So again, asked about practice squad. So let's go ahead, without further ado, and get into some details of practice squad. Teams may have a total of 16 players on that practice squad. So you got, this number used to be like, I think 10, then it was 12. Now it's 16, which to me is a lot of guys. But, this started really when COVID got underway and you had so many guys that could be out in that COVID protocol that they started this. And obviously people like it, so they've kept it at what it is. Any number of players who have not accrued at least 9 games in an NFL season, up to 4 players who have accrued no more than 2 NFL seasons. And this is the big one here, that's the new one. Up to 6 players with no limitations on experience. So like technically, Cam Newton could be on the practice squad. He's never going to accept that, but that's technically what it means. So 16 total players, and something that I did not have there listed on the screen that I want you all to know. Once the regular season gets started, you have up to 4 players that you can protect on that practice squad, which means those 4 players cannot be signed to another team during that period. So 4 players that you can do that. What about their salary? Because I know some people ask that. I'm here to bring you to all the information. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed and you like the information that I'm sharing with you, right? So salary-wise, these guys can get between, this is not exact, $12,000 to about $20,000 per week when they're on the practice squad. And if they're not protected, they can be signed by another team. But if they are signed by another team, they cannot be taken off our team and put on their practice squad. They have to be signed to the 53-man roster of whatever team picks them up. So hopefully, Andre, that answered your question about the practice squad, and you appreciate the great insight over here at Charlotte Vibe. All right, let's continue to work through these comments here. What's going on, AJ Lindsay? Appreciate you signing on, tuning in. Locks is surprised with Zylstra. Yeah, you got to be surprised with Zylstra because he's been pretty solid. So, it is what it is. We'll have a chance to talk with Coach Rule soon, but he doesn't get into talking in depth about players that are no longer on the team. So he's going to be like, hope you guys can respect that. I just don't I know that's the voice that we're going to hear from Coach Rule about that. So we'll continue to see. Big Jordan, appreciate the comment. Appreciate the comment, Big Jordan. Let's see. For Locks, he says Johnson, Stanford, and Burris are surprises. Yeah, okay. McCall made it. Nice. Is the initial 53-man so a few guys could still get cut? So absolutely, a few guys can still get cut. Here's what's going to happen. Right now, it's a little bit of strategy involved in this. It's a little bit of a chess match, right? Some of this is who do we think that we can hide on the waive them. Nobody's going to really know how much we value them, and we can put them back on the practice squad. So you have that going on between teams like, oh, maybe they don't know so much about player XYZ, and we can put them on here and get them back. Also, you got guys that you were watching in preseason, and you got, you got to remember, football, they have scouts, that's all they do is watch games and continue to have lists to pass along to Scott Fitterer when he's wanting to make moves, say, hey, here's what I got. So they're certainly watching the waiver wire to see who all is picked. I mean, they're probably doing this right now as we speak, saying, okay, look at these guys, look at these guys. And there's going to be some more moves. There's going to be guys that are currently on the 53-man roster that gets released tomorrow, and then somebody else is going to be picked up. And I believe the timeline, I'm not 100% on this, but I believe the timeline is noon for that to happen, meaning new players to be signed. And then tomorrow, after that, you'll start to see the practice squad players be created, all right? Let's see. Give me one moment here. One moment. Going through these comments. When can guys go on short-term IR? Don't really understand that question, unfortunately, Locks, to give you an educated answer on that. And let me continue to work through these comments here. Who takes Sam's spot once he goes on short-term IR? Yeah, I'm going to be honest, that's too complicated for me to answer right now because there are so many things that teams are evaluating to get their roster built. But the biggest thing I can promise you right now is as the blocks fall, I will report that to you. But Sam's not on IR yet. Sam's not, so they're keeping him. And I don't know why. We can ask Coach that, but that's currently where we are. What's going on, Rodney? Appreciate you tuning in, checking us out today. Chris is in his house. Got us thinking he outside. I'm definitely indoors. I will never try to hide or where I'm at or trick you guys. This is fake right here, so it's not real. But I'm inside. I'm not outdoors. I won't say it's too hot or not, but it's just an indoor day. We'll have plenty of preseason field reporting outdoors as well as pregame outdoor field reporting and post-game field reporting that'll be coming to you quite soon, Locke, quite soon. I thought Hayes or Barnes would have taken that last cornerback spot. Maybe one comes back when Sam goes to IR. Quite possible. What's up, more worship? Appreciate you tuning in, as always. Appreciate you tuning in. Brad Holt, Chuba did not earn a starting spot. So, and then further on, would want to say Chuba has only averaged 1.5 yards a carry, and he can't catch the ball out of the backfield. So, yeah, with Chuba, I'm not really sure why he got the nod over Lovett and over, what was the other guy's name? Dang it, I forgot the other guy's name. Let me try to get back on the screen. It was Lovett and who was it? Lovett and Spencer Brown. Yeah. We're going to see. But me personally, I like Chuba if he was just running the ball, but I don't like his hands. And it seemed like there were plenty of times in which, balls were thrown to him. Balls were thrown to Dante Foreman. I feel like the backs have gotten plenty of opportunities to catch the ball, which makes me feel like I want all my running backs to be able to catch the ball. And yeah, I personally don't like how well that Chuba catches the ball. Machiavelli, I believe that's in some way in what you're saying. I'm slightly upset over the Zane Gonzalez news. Steve Smith called it live on air, and they cut him off with commercial break. Yeah, Zane, man, you know what sucks is sometimes I get, and I'm going to clarify and making sure that you know this, a professional friendship with the player. Meaning, I don't know this guy off the field. I don't have his phone number, blah, blah, blah. But if I see him in the locker room, it's like, hey, man, how's it going? Zane Gonzalez is one of those guys. So I hope I can see Zane just to see how he's doing between now and next year. Likely I will not. But, yeah, Zane really puts a damper on things. I mean, after the Joey Sly and all that debacle that we had with that kicking game last year, Zane came in, and he was great. He was great. And then we lost him in December in Buffalo. It was like, that was weird. And we signed him to another contract. So it's like, hey, we got our special teams covered. And now he's out. Didn't even play not one game for us this year. So that's really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. What up, Matt Knows Nothing? Appreciate you coming. I don't care if you're late or not, just as long as you come. And a reminder from Donna. Donna, I appreciate it. Hit the like button if you're watching this video and you have not done so already. It helps other Carolina Panthers fans find out about me, which can help me grow, which can help me have more players and coaches on the show. And you're going to see some before the end of this week. That's for sure. 80 people, how many likes? I don't know how many likes we're up to yet. Yes, Deontay Brown. Deontay Brown is available for the practice squad, so that could certainly be where we see him. And I kind of spoke loosely earlier about the timeline. Let me go ahead and read to you all exactly the timeline for the next moves here. So give me 1 second to bring this up. Uh-oh, did not type it correctly. I'm going to tell you the exact timelines that we have for things coming up next. Just a second here. Let me see if I can share this screen with you all so that you can see some of the good stuff that's coming up next. Only on Charlotte Vibe YouTube channel we get this. All right, let's see. Hit the subscribe button. It don't cost you anything. Let's see here. I think I got it. All right. So the next things that we're at are here. Simultaneously with the roster reduction to 53 players. Hey, can you guys see me? You can see me. All right, good. Let me get back to it. Simultaneously with the roster reduction to 53 players, clubs that have players in the categories of active, physically unable to perform, or active non-football injury or illness must select one of the following options, which is just putting a player on reserve, physical reserve. All right, let me skip down to the next important thing. Claiming period for players placed on waivers at the final roster reduction will expire at noon. All right, so there again, people can start claiming players off of the waivers. That expires at noon. Those players that are claimed between now and tomorrow at noon will go on your 53-man roster, which means even this evening, you can start to see cuts after that starts. Also, at that point, when those lists of players that you're waiving are received, you can then start to build your 16-man practice squad. So that'll begin tomorrow afternoon. All right, and I'll skip on all the rest of that mumbo jumbo that's there, but hopefully that brings some insight to what could be happening in these next 24 hours. Good question. Am I having another co-host or will I be solo this year? So every year we do have a new co-host. Lauren Ruiz was our co-host last year. Great job that she did. We'll try to certainly get her on for some guest appearances, but she's no longer with us this year. We do have a new co-host, and all that will be unveiled to you shortly and very soon. But yes, that is solidified. That is in place. We're going through this period of getting our on-screen chemistry together, and you will be seeing that very shortly. Thank you for keeping track of all that goes on, Locks. Appreciate you. Anthony Logan, you ready for the season? You got any predictions for the season? You excited yet? Yeah, I'm certainly ready for this season. We got a lot of home games starting out. We only got that second week that we're in New York, and I think we got like basically 4 out of 5 games initially at home, which is pretty good. I like it. Terrence Jones, I'm good. I appreciate you checking up on me. We're doing good. Thank you very much. When is the Rule press conference? So there will not be any press conference today. We'll have practice. The players are off today as well. Practice will resume tomorrow. So that is when we'll have an opportunity to talk to Coach Rule about some of these transactions. And again, guys that aren't on the team, he's not going to talk about that. So I'm just going to let you know that already. Breaking news, Matt Rule does not talk about players that are not on his team. KPM, hadn't seen you in a minute. Appreciate you tuning in. King Recent hopes that Josh, I can't say his last name, Josh B, makes it back on that practice squad. That's quite possible. We wouldn't be in a situation if we had kept Harrison Butker. Yeah. I remember Harrison being a cool dude, man. And we put him on the practice squad. and Kansas City scooped him up, put him on that 53-man roster, and he has been a super kicker. I mean, great kicker ever since. But hey, we picked a good one. We picked a good one, just did not get a chance to keep him. Not sure what that comment is right there. What up, Tin Tizzy? Appreciate you tuning in, Tin Tizzy. Zeister should have made the cut. Yeah, certainly should have been a strong consideration to stay on this team. C.J. Saunders and Derek Wright have constantly made plays throughout the preseason. Why do you think they were cut? They played better than Robbie and Terrace Marshall Jr. Both should have been given a shot at the team. So specifically, let's see what your name is there. What your name is. Wow. What is your name? Vietnam 26. You know, Terrace Marshall Jr. is a guy that was a second-round pick. So I know we got rid of Barnes today. That was waived. That was a surprise. Cornerback Kalen Barnes. But he was not a first-rounder. He was not a second-rounder. He was I think a 6th or 7th rounder. And, you know, Terrace Marshall Jr. is just a guy that I think would be way too quick to give up on him. And just want to see a little bit more. And you can put some of those guys on the practice squad. I have lost my mark to be able to get back to the screen and look at your comments. So bear with me as I get back to that screen. And then Robbie Anderson. You know, I mean, yeah, in the NFL, you cut him, you get rid of his contract. Robbie did sign a great contract. Robbie does have some potential that you know of. He's been in the NFL. You've seen it. Coach the other day talked about, hey, Robbie Anderson is not just a deep ball threat. He also has the ability to catch balls over the middle and many other routes that he could run and catch the ball. And Rule specifically said that Robbie Anderson just needs to get some more chemistry with Baker Mayfield and just continue to get some trust from Ben McAdoo. Those two things happen. He feels like Robbie's career will be right back to where it was. I almost say rocket because Robbie on social media puts rockets everywhere. Appreciate the question, Vietnam. Sorry if you covered already, but can't believe they cut Barnes. He was way too fast and had some plays in preseason too. Yeah, I strongly believe that if you cut the guy that you just drafted, you're going to try to get him back on the practice squad. Now, I think with him, because he was so fast, that he could spark some interest on some other teams. But I don't know. You know, the other team that picks him up has to be willing to put him on the 53-man roster, meaning he's going to be dressing and playing on Sundays. And the balance that you have as another team, you might already have some other guys that you're wanting to bring up slowly and contribute to that secondary. You don't want to kick one of them out for another guy that you're going to be doing the same thing with. But yeah, that Barnes thing was a little bit of a surprise. One second. All right, let me get back to these comments that are up here. What's going on, man? He said the Vikings cut their starting defensive tackle. Need to hop on him quick. Yeah, now that I know there's another question about what position group just this. I haven't got a chance to think about that overall, but it's definitely been a thing that Fitterer said, I want another big body on defensive end, defensive tackle. And I'm sure they're going to be working the wires right now to try to see what they can get in that regard. I know Matt Paradis wasn't on Ryan Khalil's level, but from your view, is Bradley Bozeman an upgrade or competent level compared to Paradis? Hey, I got to be transparent when I don't have enough information to answer a question. This is one of those situations right here. I haven't watched a lot of tape on just the line yet to really give you a true opinion on that. So I'm going to have to come back. Make sure you come back and ask me that, Machiavelli, all right? Here's some. I finally caught the Tuesday live stream. I'm going to try to do a better job of scheduling as many streams as I can, like far out in advance, stuff that I absolutely know that I will do so that you all can have a chance to jump on. But in lieu of that, also consider hitting that bell notification. That way, when I go live and I didn't have a chance to give you, in this case, 24 hours notice, which I don't give a lot. I'm not able to give that much notice a lot of times. You'll be able to jump on, ask me your questions. I'm here working for you also. Consider to do that. Might help you make it on the live stream. But nevertheless, I appreciate you getting on right now. Brad thinks Robbie or Terrence will be traded soon. Terrorists, actually. Just going through some more comments here. I don't think I skipped over anything. OJ Howard on the street. Should we add a pass catching tight end, 6'6", 250 runs, a 4.5 in the first round draft pick, kind of underutilized by previous teams? That wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad. Yeah, and he only spent 5 months with the Bills. So now he only had 3 receptions on 4 targets and 78 snaps, OJ Howard. So I haven't done my homework on OJ Howard, but a quick little look into my resources just showed me that he could be one of those guys that had it back in the day, don't have it so much right now. Man, do we get a kicker yet? Nope. Nope, we do not have a place kicker yet. So that's certainly going to be something that's coming forward, is getting a place kicker. What's going on, Panther Blazer? Let's go. We need another defensive end or two. Do you think Baker can lead us to a 10-win season? Baker Mayfield has some, a decent ceiling that has not been reached yet. He played last year with a lot of injuries and a lot of things that weren't in his favor. Carolina certainly is seeming like they're giving him an opportunity to really succeed. We got a lot of emphasis on our offensive line. Seems pretty darn respectable on our offensive line. Of course, there's questions about Akini Kwanu and how well he'll do pass protection, which is important. I mean, he's on the left side, which can get Baker jacked up. And, Baker seems like a solid guy. I know people say he's short in stature, but he's not like he's still not a small guy to me. He's still a well-built guy. He's just not 6'2". So we also have a tough schedule. We don't have the easiest schedule coming up. So I'm not going to tell you just yet, but I think it is possible. I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's a gimme. Do I think Deontay Brown will make it through the waiver wire? I feel like there's a good chance that he can make it through the waiver wire. He's not a guy that was really just super duper standing out with the Carolina Panthers. Now, he did go to the almighty Alabama, so that could potentially help him get picked up by somebody else. But again, right now, it's like if this was during the season, you could see these guys getting picked up by somebody else because they could be picked up on the practice squad. They could be picked up to the 53-man roster. But right now, if you pick up a guy, you're basically saying he's going to be out there on the field contributing. he's a backup, and you really believe in him. So that's where it's hard right now to see what guys would potentially be picked up by somebody else. All right, so let me go ahead, for everybody that may be late, we'll go through this one more time before I get out of here. Let's go through that cut list one more time. Cut list from today. Wide receiver Brandon Zylstra. Wide receiver Keith Kirkwood. Safety Justin Burris. Linebacker Julian Stanford. Running back Spencer Brown. Running back John Lovett. Wide receiver Derek Wright. Wide receiver C.J. Saunders. Wide receiver Charleston Rambo. Wide receiver Rashawn Henry. Man, my voice is getting dry going through all these lists and these cuts. Let me continue to work through here, though. Lost my spot. Tight end Colin Thompson. Tight end Josh B. Offensive lineman Deontay Brown. Offensive lineman Mike Horton. Offensive lineman Sam Tecklenburg. Defensive end Austin Larkin. Defensive end Drew Jordan. Defensive end Daryl Johnson. Defensive tackle Frank Haran. Linebacker Josh Watson. Linebacker Aaron Mosby. Linebacker Isaiah Green Mobley. Cornerback Tay Hayes. Cornerback Kalon Barnes. Cornerback Marjorie Hopper. And safety Kenny Robinson. So before I get out of here, I don't know if you all are thinking about this, but I'm a little surprised. My two surprises are the Chuba Hubbard, the Andre Roberts. Chuba Hubbard being still on the active roster, and Andre Roberts still being on the active roster. In terms of the Kalon Barnes, again, I like to be transparent. I did not see him a lot as far as focus right on him to have a lot of evaluation about him, but it's certainly surprising anytime that a guy that was drafted did not make the 53-man roster. All right. So Josh says, what were your thoughts on a new wide receiver from the Jags? So he came in last night. We had 2 transactions last night with 2 trades, and they were and I'm going to try to say his name properly here. We acquired a wide receiver from the Jacksonville Jaguars, who a lot of people say remind them of Curtis Samuels. He goes by the name of Laviska Shenault. Hopefully I said that right. And then we also traded Dennis Daly to the Tennessee Titans, got some draft picks there. So I don't know too much about the guy yet. I do know for Laviska Shenault, the wide receiver from the Jacksonville Jaguars, his connection currently to the team was that Ben McAdoo was the quarterback's coach down in Jacksonville. They were there at the same time. So he does have some familiarity with the player. And, you know, hopefully we'll see something very good come out of that. All right, let me see if there's anything else before I get out here. Like the video if you have not done so already. Hit the subscribe button. I need to get to 5,000 subscribers. It helps me to get players and coaches on here. I've gotten 3 interviews so far this preseason. I'm trying to get 3 more this week. So if you subscribe, you'll be able to see those videos with those one-on-one interviews that are coming up soon. And hit that bell notification. That way you can jump on with me when I go live so that you can ask me any questions that you want to have. Tomorrow, the Carolina Panthers get back at it for practice, which will be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They'll be off over the weekend, and they'll be back on Monday. All right. Hope you all appreciated today's video. Signing out. Thanks for the love. Tizzy wants to be a moderator so you guys should say mod. Thankfully, I did not have any spam out here today, so that's good. Also, stay tuned Next week, trying to put together an annual video that I like to do with some other pretty good YouTubers that talk about the Carolina Panthers. We haven't got it together yet as far as aligning everybody's days and times, but I'm gonna try to get that locked up pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that notification. Really fun time when I get more people on here to talk. And then also with the regular season about to start, I'm gonna be inviting you all directly onto the show with me to ask me questions and be interactive, kind of like what you're used to with sports radio, but a lot more fun because we can see and talk to each other on here. All right, hey, Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe.